Российский премьер подчеркнул, надо усилить сотрудничество в рамках союзного государства, а на совещании в правительстве обсуждали, как сохранить доступность лекарств.
I was worried about my friends in Kyiv, and before I knew it, I found myself here.
Even though Kyiv is still dangerous. Thank you.
Shall we talk while walking through the city together?
Understood.
Putin has failed. Russia cannot be trusted. What is needed to win?
700,000 troops are fighting, but we lack weapons.
Okay, the United Kingdom will support victory, not compromise, until you win.
This is a battle between democracy and authoritarian dictatorship. My God, Putin must not remain in power.
In response to the strong performance of the Ukrainian military, the United States and the United Kingdom, which had already been actively supporting Ukraine, implemented even stronger additional aid.
Germany's energy policy was a mistake. We will completely break free from dependence on Russia. The world is no longer the same. Putin's war is attempting to overturn the peace of Europe at its very foundations. Peace cannot be protected by illusions. Strength is required. Germany will act.
Ukraine must win. However, Russia must not be humiliated with defeat.
Western countries from the Cold War era, such as Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, and Belgium, also strengthened their support.
This is not only Ukraine's war, it is Europe's war.
Furthermore, Poland and the Baltic states, which suffered under Soviet aggression during World War II, provided extremely large support. Among the Eastern European countries that had only recently joined NATO, many moved to provide active support. Countries of the Balkan Peninsula made relatively small political statements, but played an important role by supplying ammunition and providing former Soviet-made weapons.
Finland's history as a neighbor of Russia means it understands very well the reality of what that entails. The reason we are abandoning the neutrality we maintained for many years and seeking NATO membership is because of Russia's actions.
Finland, once invaded by the Soviet Union, and Sweden as well, abandoned their long-standing neutrality policies and moved toward joining NATO. Countries outside Europe, such as Japan, South Korea, and Australia, also provided major support. Although Middle Eastern countries did not provide military assistance, they actively offered mediation. Furthermore, many countries accepted refugees, fleeing airstrikes, and combat zones. These forms of rear support encouraged Ukraine, which was at a disadvantage in national power. Ukraine also specialized its domestic industries in military production and established a total war system. However, the Russian military also began concentrating forces that had been dispersed during the war and were called forces stationed across its global spheres of influence. Both armies concentrated their forces in the Donbas region, and a new large-scale battle was about to begin. The Russian military planned to encircle the Ukrainian salient by attacking from the north and south. In Avdiivka to the south, forces of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic wore down Ukrainian troops with relentless assaults that ignored casualties. In Popasna to the north, Russian mercenary forces attempted a breakthrough by launching fierce attacks, using prisoners as expendable troops.
If you fight for 6 months, you will be free. Deserters will be executed.
May 8th, the defensive line at Popasna was broken. At the same time, Russian forces that had gathered in northern Donbas began advancing south and moved up to the northern side of the Donets River. In order to encircle Ukrainian forces, the Russian military concentrated armored vehicles in this sector to rapidly cross the Donets River. On May 8th, Russian engineer units constructed a pontoon bridge over the Donets River, but Ukrainian forces quickly detected the movement through drone and air reconnaissance. Ukrainian forces responded using their artillery systems, along with high-performance howitzers supplied by the West and specialized artillery shells. In particular, the Excalibur shells supplied by the United Kingdom proved extremely effective due to their range and precision. This attack dealt a devastating blow to Russian forces on the northern side, making the of the salient impossible. The Russian military further reduced the scale of its offensive and shifted to a strategy of gradually wearing down the Ukrainian salient in a prolonged war. It was also the moment when Russia abandoned hopes of a quick victory and decided on a long war.